So, Eric, here's a genuine question.
Hmm.
When was the last time you actually cooked yourself like a full-fledged meal?
Yesterday.
Really? What'd you have in it?
Beef stroganoff. Well, that wasn't what it. That was what it was, not what was in it.
It was a meal comprised entirely of beef stroganoff.
It was a panini stuffed with beef stroganoff.
Was it?
It was bad.
Oh, it didn't turn out good.
No, I don't know what I did wrong. I followed the recipe close enough.
I think your existence in the kitchen just is probably what went wrong.
Wow. Do you ever cook something and then you're like, that looks like a quarter cup?
I did
Like,
that.
that's
I actually
probably
did that
close
the other
th
day with rice, and thank goodness it didn't end in an
All
apocalypse.
right, you gotta be pretty specific with rice too.
Yeah.
But it's like, 2 tablespoons, that looks about right.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Speculation Station, the show from Speculative Realism, where we talk about a series, a video game series that is, and create a movie from it. I'm here, as always, with my good buddy, Eric Crittenden.
Good day to you.
Hello.
And what's your name?
I don't have a name.
Oh, okay.
I've been around since show 1, and I still don't have a name.
No one's ever said your name on any podcast we've ever done.
Yes, I'll give you a secret, though.
Who?
If you could guess my name in 3 guesses, I'll let you start the podcast.
You'll become the podcast king.
You will become the podcast king.
I will become your subservient. That's Joseph Thomas, by the way.
Well, darn it, he won the competition. He is now the podcast king.
I am the king. My first order. Throw him into prison. Today we're going to be talking about Overcooked, a cooking game?
Yeah.
Listen, this is episode 3, but we've already are hitting the bottom of the barrel. We come from Fallout. We come from Doom. Games with at least, lore. Overcooked, is about cooking fast and chaotically.
There is a story.
I guess there's a story.
There is a story. Don't just say there's no story.
Why don't you walk us through the story, Joseph?
So there's 2 games so far in the Overcooked series.
Plenty of lore.
In the first game, what happens is the ever-peckish one is going to bring about the end of the world. So to stop them, you are sent back in time by the King Onion and his dog Kevin. Can't forget Kevin. And you must stop this tragedy from happening by making food, serving people.
Makes perfect sense.
In the second game, you are up against the forces of the Unbread because good old King Onion accidentally recited a recipe from the Necronomicon and brought about the rise of the Unbread.
I don't think I've ever done anything that could be described as reciting a recipe. Like, I use recipes a lot, but I don't think I've ever recited one as though it was poetry.
Well, or a spell, an incantation.
Are you telling me that King Onion uses recipes as spells?
I would assume so.
He was like, I don't know what this one does. Let's find out.
And then it rose people back, and it rose them back from the dead.
Are the unbred bread?
Yes.
But they're unbred.
And they're moldy.
But they're unbred. So
They're
how
unbred.
are they bred?
Well, that's the same question about the dead. If they're undead, then they're not dead.
No, that's not quite
right?
the same thing because they're still humans.
Yeah, but are they dead or are they not dead?
That's not the point. That's a status. Death is a status. Bread is a state of being.
You can either be wheat or you could
no,
be
hang
bread.
on, Joseph. Are you implying that bread is ever not bread?
Yeah, there's points when it's just wheat. There's also points when it's just dust.
Well, are these zombies wheat or dust?
They were at some point.
No, I don't think so. They're bread. What is unbread about bread zombies? They're still bread.
They're very slowly not being bred.
They're decomposing.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, do you think did anyone in Overcooked 2 make the joke about like how yeast rises or how bread rises? Because like how bread rises.
We're talking about Overcooked here.
Yeah, like that's kind of their sphere of influence is food puns. Let's make a movie, I guess. So, oh God, where do we even start?
I think we start from the first game. I think we only do the first game because, let's be honest here,
Because there's so much to go on.
there's too much. We can't incorporate both of them.
Yeah. Okay. So the game starts in the future or present, where
In the let's just say
Beginning.
future for the sake of continuity.
sure, a big what type of monster? It's spaghetti, right?
It's a giant meatball with spaghetti limbs, and it's called the
Right.
Everpeckish one.
Okay. So let's just start there. Is
Got
that
a lot to
where
unwrap here.
Where do we even are we committed to starting with or going with the whole apocalypse monster time travel thing?
I think we could do it. I think we could really do it justice. Okay, so first we gotta decide the style of this film, not the genre.
Yeah, maybe
the
we're
style.
getting too far ahead. I know what you want, and I'll say it. We want to go animated, right?
Yeah, but that doesn't exactly answer the style, because the style of animation in, say, something like Toy Story and Emperor's New Groove are two completely different styles.
One of them, they're all toys.
I was referring more 2D versus 3D versus over-characterized models versus trying to look lifelike models. So they're little pogo people in the games.
Yeah, they're not particularly good looking in 3D, but I mean, obviously, we can kind of change that.
Well, and we have seen what they look like in 2D, because the little menu screens show little 2D versions of them.
Right,
Which they
but
look
2D
like just
movies,
2D Muppets.
2D movies don't really sell.
I say we do it live action with CGI. That was
What?
actually what I was going to say from the beginning.
Really?
I wasn't going to say animation.
Ugh. Now, there is a third option called puppets.
The question is, with that one, could...
When they go back in time, they are the only puppets, and no one really brings it up. So all their like customers and stuff are humans.
I think I like that a heck of a lot better.
That's good. That's a good middle ground.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I think King Onion should be an actual onion sitting on a shelf. Like he is when they're in the period, when they're in the proper time period, King Onion is a full-on puppet and he's moving around talking to them. But then when they go back in time,
Like not even he's just a mute onion. So
we got to come up with a real conflict here other than the goal of save the world.
pretty good. Look, this is a kids movie, I assume.
So what do they have to do to save the world? In the game,
They have to make
feed
food?
people. So what do they have to do in our world, in our version, to save the world from the Everpeckish one?
What if? Okay, now stick with me here because this is about to get buck wild.
All right.
You know the Terminator movies, where the Terminator was created by Skynet, right?
Yeah.
In that same vein, what if the meatball that turns into the Everpeckish one is like a prize meatball, and it's given to like the best chef in the world, like 25 years ago, and then it's given to like an evil person, and over time it becomes mutated and evil. So our four chefs have to go back in time and becomes the world's best chef.
To win the meatball. I like that. I actually really like that. It's simple enough. We could easily showcase it and say like, "Oh, that's what's gonna become the Everpeckish. We gotta get it. We gotta make sure it doesn't fall into the wrong
it's
hands."
just like a big meatball.
Yeah. Well, once again, it's a kids movie. Like it would work.
We can get fantastical with it. We can be like, "Oh, it's a meatball that whoever holds it, it takes the heart of the person and amplifies it," or something
and
like
it could
that.
make, and if it's like used by a really good chef, it can make really, really good meals. Like that's
But
it.
if it's used by a bad chef, it
becomes
creates
becomes a
an
monster.
unsatiable hunger
Yeah.
because cooking is bad. Bad cooking makes you hungry.
Well, it would be the opposite. It'd be, instead of feeding people, it consumes.
Yeah. Now, should the quote-unquote bad person be a puppet as well, or kind of like a Smurfs Gargamel type figure?
I kind of want to go with they're human, But when we see the evil chef, I think this is our point where we have celebrity actor, right?
Oh, of course.
You have a celebrity actor.
Now, Joseph, we do have to be careful that we don't just start making a Muppet movie, because I know
No,
we are both on
here's
that.
what I think we should do, and I'll be 100% honest.
I mean, that's the classic Muppet thing to do. Even in the original Muppet movie,
Yeah, Steve
you had
Martin.
cameos.
Yeah.
John Madden.
John Madden.
He was in all of them secretly.
He threw Kermit like a football.
No. That's you've heard of the movie The Happy Time Murders, right? Where it's
Yeah,
like
that
Groody
one
Muppets?
didn't do so hot.
Right. I don't care about that. But did you know that it was produced by the Jim Henson Company?
Yes, I did know that.
It could be possible that we could get the blessing of the Jim Henson Company.
Let's assume we did.
Yeah.
Let's construct this movie as if we did.
Wait, hang on. Should we make this a musical?
Oh, I would love to.
Let's
I
do
would
it.
love to.
Start off, we're gritty. You see humans barely getting by. They're hungry. They can't eat. What do? They start singing, baby.
Yeah.
They start singing. They're doing the, we work hard and we don't have food and big old
So
monster
it's like
is
it's not
coming
just a
for
straight up
you.
apocalypse. You're talking about like a George Orwellian like dystopia. I like that. I like that a little better.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
And then like maybe the bad guy rules the world or something like that, where there's like a big picture of him or her with a crown on.
That would be perfect, because then when they do go back in time and we see them just as a chef, we recognize them as the bad guy.
Now, or we could have it take a more Muppety approach, where it's like kind of half and half humans and half Muppets / puppets.
I think, okay, I do like the idea of certain things being puppets then.
Yeah.
That are also no existence of those puppets except for the main characters when they go back in time.
That's just King Onion's blessing.
But King Onion himself is a puppet.
Right.
I think Kevin should be an actual dog for cute sake, you know.
Oh, obvious. I think King Onion should be like a Big Bird type Muppet. Where it's like a guy in a suit.
It would be funny. I think, but it'd have to be you have to walk the line between the Uncanny Valley and like make sure that it's something that looks okay.
Well, still goofy. Yeah, still like a big dumb onion with a mustache and a crown. Okay, so should we introduce our characters in the quote unquote future, or save all the character description for the past? The question is, why does King Onion select these 4 chefs to go back in time? What's the connection?
What if they are actually doing a really, really good job at like helping feed people? Like, they're really good chefs in their own right now. And even under the tyrannical rule of this bad guy, they are doing a really good job at feeding people. And let's say it goes to the extent where they even get found out. Not like they're running some organization underground or something, but like they run a soup kitchen. And it's this chaotic, ridiculous soup kitchen, but it feeds people.
Well, what if instead of them being good cooks, they are the only cooks?
Oh.
So like maybe cooking is outlawed or something.
Then they would run an underground soup kitchen or something, yeah.
They've seen how people are hungry. So they've started this I kind of like that idea. Like after that first song, you see all the tired and weary people like trucking on down, and then they go to this side down these stairs, and then like a big Muppet opens the door, and then it's like, you know, you have like a banjo going, and the Muppets are cooking and singing, and
it's the chaos, right? You get to see a little peek into the chaos of Overcooked, where food is getting served.
I do think aesthetic wise, we should go like older Muppet movies where it's still kind of dirty and gritty.
Yeah, I think it could lighten up a bit when we do show the kitchen. Once again, the idea that these people are good, these people are doing good,
at least compared to the hardship of outside.
Yeah.
Maybe. Oh, what if everyone works at a canning plant or something, and so like they can only eat the cans, and it's like all we do is eat the cans day in and day out. So it's like that's all they eat, and then you go down and you have the chefs trying to find new ways to cook the spaghetti.
Yeah, so it's like a can of something that's not very good, but then they're making a soup out of it or something. You know?
Yeah, and it's not like a good soup, but it's different.
Well, and it's better, and we can see that people are I think you're gonna have that one old man character who's like, this is
Oh, you gotta
this
have
is
the old man,
this
played
is
by like
almost as good.
Ian McKellen or something.
Yeah.
So let's talk about our four main characters, because we haven't yet.
Yeah.
What are you thinking? Because there are zero characterization in the game.
Well, if we look at the four the first characters that you can select in the game, they're all human, quote unquote.
Yeah, human-ish.
Would we want them all to be human-ish, or would we want to go ahead and make some of them animals? And
Nah, I think the Muppety human, big nose,
Yeah.
covered in felt.
right, I think we've got so let's just right now be generic and say we've got four goofy humanoid Muppets.
Yeah, like what they look like doesn't really matter. 2 guys, 2 girls, sure.
Obviously, their chemistry as their characters would need to be written out so that they could have chemistry together. And I don't think they would ever get into any big fights with each other, but they would need to be able to bicker with each other and also be kind to each
Right.
other, believably.
Yeah, like when they're cooking, it needs to be kind of like, no, put the bun over here. I'm trying to, but like at the end of the day, they're still trying to do teamwork
Right. Yeah, I like that.
as best as they can. Well, I mean, we have to have character arcs for them.
Okay, let's come up with some personalities then. Let's not create characters. Let's create personalities.
Okay,
And then
I'm
we
good
can
with that.
build on that. And then they can be male, female, doesn't matter what race,
Sure.
doesn't matter whatever.
Who cares? I mean, Muppet.
That's their race.
One of them can be blue for all I care. It doesn't really matter. I think we should have the best cook, who like maybe
Okay.
doubts themselves.
And that's holding them back. So I think at this point in the film, they're taking kind of a backseat in the kitchen. They're not really doing their full potential. I think we need to have a character who is, quote unquote, the leader, not because they're the best, but maybe because they're the loudest, maybe because they're the ones.
Or even the oldest. We have a Muppet
Gray
with
hair.
a beard or white curly
And
grandma hair or
okay.
something. Yeah.
Not necessarily that they're
I like the idea. of
Yeah.
like having someone they all call grandma.
or grandpops or whatever. Yeah.
She's like, get
Would
to
you want this
cooking."
character to be dotting and jolly, or would you want them to be aggressive and okay? I think they've got like undertones of aggression,
like stern,
but
stern
they're
but jolly.
overall their character is very nice and
Yeah.
because there could be any scene. There's always going to be a scene where Grandma throws something at somebody, but
Oh, you can't not have it. How about a character who is tempted by
Ooh.
power?
But in the end, would not be actually.
And maybe she's jealous of this,
Okay.
the best
I
cook.
like that. So you have a character who kind of has jealousy, kind of has an ego, and
Right.
and during some point during the past,
Yeah.
maybe decides that they want to go on their own because they're going to be better, but then ends up, coming back.
Right.
And then I think we should have. I really want
Yeah.
to have kind of a gruff, angry person. Not that they're actually mean or angry. It's just that they're the ones that usually are going to be the ones that if somebody calls them out on something, they're going to start throwing things in the kitchen, And maybe they think they know everything. So then maybe they're prideful.
Yeah.
So they're more in the sense of it's like, you shouldn't put that can of spaghetti in there with the green beans. What do you know? None of us know anything. It's like, oh, you want the cans? Take the cans. It's just.
Maybe it's more of a sense of independency.
Oh,
Where it's
okay.
like, this is my corner of the kitchen. You guys, you bring me the pizza over here and I'll cook it. And then I'll give it to you. Don't interfere. This is my process.
I like that. And then they realize that they could use help.
What should the grandma's arc be?
I don't think the grandma needs an arc. I'm going to be honest. I think the grandma could be your stereotypical Muppet-like character who stays the same. Because think about it. Old people stay the same. But she would be the one who kind of leads the others.
She's the moral compass.
She's the moral compass. But she's still not like, once again, she's not the best chef.
But she has the best sense of teamwork.
Right. So she does need the others. She's not going to do it on her own. And she
Yeah.
knows that the others need her.
Right.
Kind of like the player who's played the game before.
Let's just give them names. Let's say the main guy, let's call him Adam. I don't know, whatever.
Adam.
Adam. Jealous person, call her Tanya.
Tanya.
You have Grandma, and you got Jerome.
Jerome. I like Jerome.
Jerome. All right, so they're cooking in this little homemade kitchen. The food ain't great. It or maybe it is good. I kind of like that it is good.
I like it's better. It's significantly better.
Yeah, cause if we're going this Muppet movie route, like people need to kind of be exaggerated. Like you see them like they're frowning the whole time, and then they take a bite of the spaghetti or whatever, and they smile.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, there's a change in the life, and then I think they get caught. Some like the spaghetti troops bust down the door or something, and maybe that could be like an opponent, like a bunch of, I don't know if they're Muppets or not. I think it'd be funny if they aren't, or they're like basically stormtroopers.
Yeah,
and like they're kind of the antagonists, other than the main bad guy, and they like get sent back in time too.
I like that. Way out of place.
Yeah, so like they have to enter the cooking competition as well. And maybe it could be kind of like the Muppet movies do, where it's like a mix of Muppets and humans.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that throughout the film. I was trying to. I think we could have leaned more towards them just being puppets, but I think if we have more, because then we can include the animal characters as chefs in the past.
All right, yeah. Okay, so they get the door's busted down by the let's call them the spaghetti troops. Spaghetti troops. And the kitchen's destroyed.
We do need to ask two questions.
Yeah.
Do we want these spaghetti troops to be characters themselves or to be faceless stormtroopers? Because what we can do is we can create the bumbling four troops.
No, definitely bumbling.
Yeah, that are just the bumbling four troops that are, they have chemistry together, but they don't really have fleshed out personalities. Like, we don't really get to know them the same way we get to know the protagonists.
That's the dumb one. That's the evil one. Stuff like that. Just very basic kind of stereotypes.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm perfectly fine with that.
Yeah. That's the one who falls in love with Jerome.
I think these guys need to be humans, but in costume. All the time. They never take off their costumes.
I think we should have like, you got these two big like hulking guys, and then maybe you have a big Muppet, and maybe you got like a small evil looking Muppet.
But they're all wearing the same uniform. Yeah.
Yeah, even though they're like very obviously different sizes.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. Okay. Because then they themselves are Muppets. You could have one of them. Once again, I like this funny little concept of there's like a voice changer thing. So they've got kind of the Stormtrooper
That's
speakers.
Funny.
There's one that is a girl that falls in love. Or, it doesn't have to be a girl. But I'm saying the implication of there's one that is not what we expect them to be.
Yeah. Betrays the team or something like that.
Right. And becomes the one that you like the most or something. Like, you're going to like these characters, but at the same time, you also know they're the bad guys.
Right. Okay, cool. So the kitchen's destroyed. They're just kind of put down, like they can't really do anything. They're just kind of put out on the street.
Because then that would be like, maybe we get to see these characters as more like, well, we got you now. You can't do anything. And then they're so confident.
And then they're so sad because they can't cook anymore.
They can't cook.
Grandma holds up a broken spatula and she says, "How am I to cook with this tool?" It's very sad.
And Jerome is kicking a can.
Jerome kicks again. He says, "Oh man, I missed my corner." And then I think King Onion should approach them. Maybe.
Yes, I definitely think this is the introduction of King Onion.
King Onion. So are you saying King Onion should be a consistent character throughout the whole thing?
If we keep King Onion as a full-on character and we don't have him turn into a mute onion, which now that we're mixing the worlds of humans and puppets, it's possible we could keep him. What if he was the president in the past?
Okay, sure.
He's the president, right? And he looks exactly the same. He's got a crown too. Like he just looks exactly the same.
I think Kevin looks exactly the same.
That'd be good too.
It's like Kevin's still a puppy. Okay, yeah, so he approaches them.
He approaches them.
Should he be a prisoner, or just kind of like he's powerless and he's just kind of sent out into the world by the bad guy?
I'd say he is not powerless. He's just lost hope. That's his thing, is nobody cooks. And maybe that's when these four characters come up and they're wearing the tattered chef
now
things.
hang on. What if it was like, what if kind of we see this kitchen, and then maybe in the back corner we see this onion-shaped man just kind of watching, and then like it gets destroyed and they're down on their luck, and then he approaches them.
I like that because then we don't really have to explain who he is. He can say, "I am King
the
Onion."
Onion King.
I think his name should be King Onion, but he's the president. Like his name is King Onion, and he wears a crown. But he's the president
That's
of the
so
past. He's not a
stupid. I
king.
love
He
it.
never was a king. It's all in the name.
King is his first name.
Right. I think that'd be great.
That's funny.
He comes up to them, explains who he is, so they think he's some kind of king. Of course, the characters would represent him as a king at this point because he's wearing a crown. He's and
he says, "I am King Onion."
yeah, like that's how he introduces it. I am King Onion. I've been watching you. And I think that, and they're just in awe.
Okay, so he says something like, "In 4 days, the ever peckish one will finally consume the world."
I just thought of a good joke, and I want to say this before we
Go
They
ahead.
come in and they say, "President Onion," he says, "Just call me King." And to this,
So
some other character, he's
so
just call
stupid.
me King, which of course is a nicety. No need for formality.
Oh!
But yet
I
he's
just
saying,
had
"Just call me King," which could come off as kind of like, huh?
I just had an idea.
Okay.
What if the bad guy was the cook, the president's cook?
Oh, I like that.
So there's kind of that kind of, he wants vengeance almost.
Yeah,
The King Onion, I mean,
Yeah.
not the bad guy.
I think King Onion doesn't necessarily. King Onion just wants a better world. The cook
Yeah.
maybe it plays the kind of the fool of the king role. And
Yeah.
King Onion's tastes could never be satiated, could never be satisfied.
Yeah. So it's kind of because of King Onion that the bad guy is a bad guy.
Yeah.
I like that. That's fun.
So King Onion definitely would have a reason to find these people out and to actually put a stop to it because he did create this.
Yeah. Okay, so he says, in a week, the ever peckish one will consume all, or something like that. And he says, "We must send you back in time to win the cooking competition." He gives the exposition. And then he sends them back in time with his magic and 50, 75 years in the past. And then maybe he says, should he go back in time with them, or should...
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Should he tell him to get in contact with him even, or just kind of to win the competition?
I think it should be a don't get in contact with him thing. He doesn't say don't, find me, but it's just kind of he focuses them, do this task, win it. And they could be kind of surprised that he still does exist back then, or something.
Yeah.
And they start to learn, I guess the audience would then start to learn the connection that the king has, or that Onion has, with this bad guy.
So the four chefs get sent back in time, and maybe King Onion gives them a lot of money or something, or enough money to start a kitchen.
I know what it could be. It could be something as simple as he writes on a piece of paper with his signature and his seal of approval or whatever.
That's good, yeah.
He says go to this location, hand them this paper, and they'll let you have what you need.
So they start their first kitchen, and they got to work. I think there should be a deadline, like a couple months until the cooking competition with the sacred meatball.
Yeah.
So how do they get from point A to point B?
I think it's they're sent back with the knowledge of this competition and when to enter, but they have to get better, and the only way to get better, of course, is through practice.
Or maybe they have to reach a certain amount of something
They have to get a
be
certain
entered.
rating at their restaurant to qualify.
Yeah.
There you go. They have to get a certain star rating at their restaurant to qualify.
All right, so it's kind of that classic Muppets rags to riches story.
Yeah.
Where they start with nothing, but because they're good at what they do and they're happy and joyful and all that stuff, they eventually, they change people's lives.
Yeah, I think their arcs definitely are developing. They're in the kitchen. They have their strife. They have their troubles.
Yeah.
I kind of want to have, when it gets to the competition. So, for example, they get to the competition. It's not just a straight up competition. It's not kind of what we were expecting it would be. It gets to the point where it's like the games, where they're on blimps and they're on rafts, and they're having to do all these ridiculous things that they weren't exactly prepared for. But since they've worked through their struggles,
Yeah.
they're able to overcome, while all these other groups, we could cut away and say the 4 guards see off in the distance and say, wait a minute, what's going on? And they're saying, oh, it's those chefs again. They must be up to no good. So they chase after them. They get sucked into the portal too. Then they get there.
Right.
They are also building up because they see what's going on and they realize and they say, wait, we can't, stop them from doing this. So they build up their own restaurant.
And they never go like, oh, we should kill him because, it's a kid's movie. So it's like, oh, we got to stop
And that's
him.
not what they're going to do.
Or maybe they start like sabotaging the kitchen in the competition.
Oh, or they could be some of the people who start creating the strife behind the scenes between the chefs.
Oh, that'd be pretty good.
I mean, it's a bunch of different things.
Maybe the one that falls in love with Adam or Tanya or whoever. One of those two, I think. Maybe not Tanya. Like, she or he is kind of being influenced by the other ones to be like, tell him this. And she starts, like, inflicting that self-doubt more and more. Like, no. Maybe it should be Tanya. It's like, you're better than everyone else.
Yeah.
You should make the pizza this time.
I think it would be also just as funny if this isn't some whispering voice. This is one of them in their uniform with a fake mustache and a cowboy
100%.
hat. On top of that, explaining this. Who made this one? And then it was Tanya. This is the best one, better than everyone else's. And does this whole spiel about
right.
it. But of course, because it's a kid's story,
Tanya no one
doesn't
notices.
See that it's no one
that's
notices.
Funny. All right, cool. So I think the final third, or maybe even before that, is like the competition. And maybe you have that Act 2 downfall where like the team kind of almost breaks up or something. But then, maybe Granny or Adam even kind of brings them all together better than ever.
Mm-hmm.
But before they get to the competition, where they're starting their kitchen, are you saying we should have it in the same location? Ooh, I had an idea. What if the kitchen that they use, that they're sent back in time, is the same kitchen that got destroyed?
That'd be kind of interesting.
It's just same location, something they're familiar with. But maybe it's like an abandoned warehouse or something in the past.
Right. And so now that they've got, the president can just kind of give it to them. So they have it, and it's got all the stuff in there, and they have to literally start from rags.
Right.
I like that.
Yeah. I think maybe in classic Muppet fashion, the chef should like start getting famous as and like kind of we have the visual thing where it's like 3-star, these chefs have become 3-star chefs in only 2 weeks, and it's like they're vaulting to fame. And then when they're like on the verge of 5 stars, I think the bad guy should visit their restaurant, and like we have the introduction.
And start messing with them. I like that.
Or not even kind of like mess with their heads.
Well, not like sabotage them directly, unlike his future goons.
Just like intimidate them.
Well, I think we get to see why he's evil now.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the bad guy.
I really want to have it be, I don't know, this sounds bad. I want it to be a typecast villain character, but played by a modern, really well-known like drama actor.
I know exactly who we can pick as Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, really?
Perfect. He's perfect for it. He could be wacky, but he's also a really good dramatic actor. I think it should be someone who literally towers over them, like in classic Gargamel fashion.
Yeah.
And like maybe we could do camera tricks to make them taller.
They are small, but then when they're like up on the counter, they're like talking, and they talk whenever they're taking orders, they're up at a certain height. But then when they're running around the kitchen, maybe they're kind of smaller. And when he like walks in, to look at them, they're small,
Yeah.
And we kind of get that realization.
They're as big as like Kermit is, like 3-4 feet.
Yeah. And he looks, down upon them, and he's
so you're the chefs who are vaulting up the leaderboards or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe we can make the world. Let's talk about the world a little bit, because I think instead of, we don't want to make it like basically today. I think we should make it kind of food centric.
At least in a sense of there's a reason why everybody would want to be a part of this, or
right.
Everybody likes
and like
food,
the meatball is kind of the equivalent of like the Heisman Trophy. It's like it's a big deal whoever gets it.
I think that's fair. I think we shouldn't like have it to where it's like obviously streets are named after foods and things like that. But I think we should focus the fact that this is something that is a big achievement.
And chefs are kind of superstars.
Yeah. I like
that
that.
contrasts because all the people living in the past have access to unbelievably great food and a huge variety of it, contrasted with the future where everyone's eating like the same can of something, same can of something every day.
Yeah.
So the bad guy is the chef to the president, and wants to be the best, but is angry that the president never says they're the best or never can be satisfied. So evil grows in their heart.
I don't think King Onion's a jerk about it, but I definitely think it's something that he's trying to be. I don't know. I almost want him to have a development as well, but it's in the sense of like, he's kind of like, well, Mama used to make this way, and he maybe comes from he's the president because he comes from this long line of.
What if he was the most famous chef? And he's become president, and so there's like a rule that presidents can't cook or something, and so maybe he's like, well, I would have done it like this.
I like that.
And so the bad guy can never be good enough for King Onion, President King.
And he
Onion.
doesn't, and of course, King Onion doesn't mean it to be like mean. He's the chef. He can't help it.
Yeah, he could be the winner of the meatball. The first time the meatball was discovered and given away, like, so we see kind of a old news footage of him cooking.
Oh yeah,
like he's young, cool. Like he doesn't have a mustache yet.
No, he still has a mustache. I like the joke of somehow he looks and Kevin looks the exact same
still
too,
a puppet.
and it's a sepia tone photo. Like.
Yeah, it's like old war footage. And it's like here we have the young man King Onion cooking his famous chili.
I also think it would be funny if they referred to him as an old man in the future, but he looks, once again, other than being a little disheveled,
that's funny.
He looks the same.
So like he's old in the future, like in the old footage, he says, "That's young. Here we have this young upstart."
But he looks the same. I like that. I really like that.
All right, cool. So the bad guy wants to prove himself or herself to President King Onion by winning the meatball.
Yeah.
But they don't know, maybe they do know, that the meatball amplifies the desire of the winner's heart, or the state of the winner's heart. So if it's an evil heart and a spiteful heart that maybe doesn't want to cook for the right reasons, it will become this ever-consuming thing.
I like that. It's the whimsical but simple to understand. You don't want evil people to have it. You want good people to have it. And to prove that, just because of the way the world works, apparently, the best chef would win it.
Right. And it wouldn't make sense for the best chef to not love cooking unless they're trying to prove something, like the bad guy.
And maybe the only reason why it was given in the past that is trying to be changed, the only reason why it was given to the bad guy was because there was nobody who could oppose him.
Right. It may be the bad guy could kind of be an example for Tanya, where the bad guy works alone. And
I like
the
that.
only way that they can beat the bad guy is by working together.
Right. And Tanya gets like, well, if he's this good by himself, I could be even better by myself.
Yeah, but then nothing she does is great.
Yeah, she's got, she could be kind of the jack of all trades. Like, she is good at everything she does, but she's not the best at everything she does, and she needs other people.
And maybe there's a point. Maybe there's a point at this end of the second act where she splits off, or they all split off. Like Adam stops cooking because he doesn't believe in himself, and then
I think Grandma'd be the only one left. I think
Grandma
is alone in the kitchen. Well, no, she's cooking a soup, right? And we can see the restaurant is at a point where it's not as full. There's not really anybody in there.
That's pretty good, yeah. And like they can't afford the electrical bill or something.
And so Grandma cooks the soup, brings out the soup. She's by herself. She brings out the soup to the person, and the person's like, "What happened?"
Why should Jerome leave?
I don't know if it should be initiated by the goons, but I think Jerome should believe that other people are against him.
Okay.
So as where Tanya is actively trying to separate herself, Jerome really doesn't care until he believes that the others think a certain way about him. Because nobody is saying anything bad to Tanya. But to Jerome, there could be this little voice, this little goon that's telling him.
What if one of the goons sounds like exactly like one of the other chefs? Just for some reason. Or could do like a
Or they
really
could just
good
do
voice.
they could do the fake voice or something, you know.
They're pretending to talk about it, like, I hate Jerome. He says, no.
Yeah, it's like he doesn't do anything, staying in that corner by himself all the time.
I do everything.
Yeah, and so he kind of gets this. I think Jerome should also be kind of the dishwasher. Like that's his
I
like
forgot
one of
about
his main
dishwasher, yeah.
tasks.
He's like, he doesn't even cook. It's like, yes, I do.
Yeah, because his role is still important. We all know this.
Yeah, oh,
but of course,
do we? Yeah. And then he leaves.
Do
Well,
we?
what does he
Yeah.
go do? Because Tanya tries to cook by herself. Adam leaves to just not be a cook.
I think Jerome would go maybe joins maybe because of his fame, he can join like another really big restaurant and he's just washing dishes. Like, but it doesn't feel the same. You know, like
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, like they're literally just like delegate him to the dishwashing where in the past he would choose to. So
Yeah.
he's just kind of, it's almost like slavery. You know, he's just like unhappily
Well,
washing
yeah,
dishes.
it's not
They
the
keep
same.
dumping
He
them
can't
on
do
him.
anything else. Because maybe it's like such a big kitchen where everybody's doing only one job.
Ooh, that's good.
And that's kind of what he
That's what he thought.
wanted
That's what
to
he
do.
thought he would like, but it turns out he doesn't.
Because maybe it cuts back and we talk. Maybe there's a scene at one point where he's helping chop carrots or something, you know,
Yeah.
and or he's doing something. He's enjoying it, and he's also enjoying doing the dishes because he's still talking with everybody. But it's this very, it's still of course good food, but it feels very manufactured. It feels very streamlined process.
Okay, well maybe like he finishes his dishes really quick and he sees like maybe the person over the oven struggling, so he like heads over there and the manager says, "Well, no, Jerome, you stay over there in your corner." Where in the
Yeah.
past, like if someone needed help, Jerome would scurry over there and help him.
Yeah, because he'd be able to.
Right. That's fun. And then Granny just stays because she loves cooking. And she's all right. She's fine at cooking.
Granny was the actual head.
Yeah,
But
great.
nobody really realized it.
Yeah,
you know?
Granny's still there. Granny doesn't really change.
I think Granny knows they're going to come back too. Like she's just like, it's like they'll come to their senses. you know? I almost think this might be too much. This might be too much. But let's say one of the goons that has an interest in, say, one of the chefs, right?
Romantically?
Romantically.
Okay.
Ends up leaving the goons.
I think that should be at the end.
Well, not. Okay, let's say they don't leave the goons, but maybe they're sent over to do some reconnaissance, right?
Right.
And this is at the point where everybody else has left, so they just find this out. And the goon sits down at the table, and the grandma's serving them and talking to them, and now it would allow for a moment where you can have this discussion
I like that.
about,
Yeah.
who they are. And of course, the goon is going to be interested because of their romantic interest in whoever, but they're also going to be there as somebody the audience kind of knows about too. So it's not just Granny talking to some rando, it's two characters that we know talking to each other. We can have a bit more of an emotional scene.
Well, what if the goon, maybe the kitchen is getting, this is before they split up, maybe the kitchen's getting really busy. And, this could be fun actually.
Okay.
Maybe it's like the kitchen's getting really busy, so they hire a fifth person. It's the goon in disguise.
Oh.
And then the goon starts like splitting them up, starts influencing all of them, and then she's in radio contact with the other guys.
Yeah.
And then they all split up, and the goon is also kind of feeling empty because even though she was sabotaging them, she enjoyed cooking with them.
Right,
So maybe she
like-
goes to Granny's shop, and Granny, of course, Granny knows everything.
But she
doesn't say it.
anything.
Yeah, and maybe the goon has to have this redemption arc of kind of undoing the damage that she did.
I like that. Oh, I like that because then you could have this thing
and
where
then in the competition, she joins them as the fifth cook. Okay.
Not during. I don't think during the competition. I think maybe at the end it would be fine for her to join them, but like at the competition, it needs to be the 4 because that's kind of the whole thing of Overcooked is it's players of 4. You don't get over 4 players in a game. And
I know, but for
hold
the
on. And
story
more
wise,
importantly, that implies that this big bad guy is even better, of course, because he's doing all of this by himself. And if you add another 5th person, that just kind of makes it a little unbelievable. It's like, okay, wait.
I don't know. I feel like she should join him. It feels right.
Halfway through the competition, maybe.
All right, yeah, I'll give you that.
Because I don't want it to be like she's just there because now they've got a super upper hand. I think it would be like she joins them when it seems like they might
Okay,
He had
yeah,
a
you have that
loss.
third act downturn.
Yeah.
Maybe the bad guy sabotages the cooks, and that causes that goon to come in.
I like that because then it was already an unfair thing, you know.
Right. Maybe the only way the bad guy can win is by cheating.
So he tries to cheat, and the goon notices this, and the other chefs don't, and so the other chef comes in, and I don't know. It could be if we make some strict rules to the competition, then it could be kind of a counter sabotage where it's not seen by the judges, it's not noticed.
Sure, under the table.
The goon is helping reverse the sabotage.
Yeah, whatever it is, some kind of redemption arc.
So let's say they're doing a thing where they're on blimps, right, or something.
Okay, yeah.
And the sabotage, the bad guy has put bombs under their blimp.
Sure.
And the goons, let's say like they're following, all 4 goons are following, because they're just kind of watching it, and they're all pouting because they're like, well, we didn't even make it, through the first one. And the other goon looks up and notices the bombs and thinks, wait, something's wrong. And then
wait, those are bombs.
Or something, let's not be super drastic, but you get what I'm saying. Like they notice something that was planted
Something's
there.
off.
And so they actively go to help against that. And it's not like they're actually helping them cook, but they are saving them, keeping them.
What if the goons are like they actually recruit themselves to the bad guy? So now they start kind of working for the bad guy. So even if they
there's one reason why I don't like that. I think they have this sense, it's going to be kind of silly, but they have this sense of the past cannot change. So therefore, they cannot let themselves really, really be known to the bad guy. Like they can't help him, but they need to stop these other guys.
Or maybe they're in radio contact with the future bad guy somehow.
Ooh,
and the bad guy's like,
that
don't
would add
talk
a whole
to my
other
past.
angle.
Don't talk to my past self.
Because he doesn't want anything to change about him. So he's like, don't mess with anything.
Okay, that's good.
Stop them and pull and leave me alone so I can win this. Yeah.
Right. Okay, cool.
So that's really funny because then it creates this sense of pride in yourself as another person.
Yeah. So I don't know. I
think we should start developing their characters. So we're gonna have scenes where it seems like things are getting better, but then of course once it hits that rock, where they get sabotaged, it just kind of falls apart, and then of course they fully develop after that point.
I think it should be kind of almost a glass cannon.
There, yeah.
Where like they're barely holding on as they're rising to fame, but they're still managing to like an Overcooked, like you barely get 3 stars, but you get 3 stars.
I think Adam should have a scene where there is a critic that comes in.
Yeah.
And the way the critic says something, let's say the critic actually likes it, but the way the critic said something just nails into Adam that he's just not good enough.
Okay. Yeah.
Once again, it could kind of be a parallel to what President King Onion's doing to the bad guy. So we kind of see these different, we see the good versions. And so when the bad person reacts this way to an event, a good person is going to react differently, but they're going to feel the same emotion.
I think we should have the quote unquote good goon start sabotaging early by like, I guess we'll have him influence Tanya.
Yeah. I think that's going to be the strongest influence at the beginning.
Like they take him out on a date or something. And so it's that dramatic irony where we know it's a bad guy, but Tanya doesn't.
Yeah.
And then they slowly start falling for each other. Until, right at the end where it's like, I love you.
Yeah. I think that could work. But, it's something that they still are doing their job up until they really realize, things.
Well, yeah, but they're not doing the job the whole time just because you want to break up.
So, I think it'd be kind of funny. It might be a little early to do that, but, they get a radio call or they're about to get a radio call, they just kind of switch it off and they're,
The goons?
The goon, yeah, gets a radio call while it's out on the date and it just kind of switches it off and is, trying to actually have a real date.
The goons are watching them from a van or something. It's like, oh, she's really staying in character. But actually, she's just legitimately interested.
Yeah, or something like that.
So should the chefs ever meet President King Onion except right at the end when he gives them the meatball?
I think here's what I think should happen. This might be a little weird. I think when they meet the president, he knows who they are.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like even in
Like
his
he
past
winks,
self.
he winks at him or something.
Yeah, something simple. He's like,
And
"Well,
so
it seems
you're
like you guys arrived just in the nick of time." You know, it makes a
Yeah.
time pun, and
then you're like, wait, maybe that's why he never changed his appearance.
yeah, there you go. He's a time
he is
traveler.
he is infinite.
He is God. President King God Onion.
I think maybe like halfway through the movie something kind of goes wrong and they're like, we don't know what to do, we need help. And they're like, well, we could go try to talk to the president. And like maybe they sneak in the president's, because obviously he's not like the president of America, so they don't go to the White House. But you know, they sneak into his they sneak into his palace or something, and they're almost to the president's office, and then it's like, well, what do we have here?
Oh,
and
it's the bad guy. Yeah.
Yeah, so you could have something like that, where he kind of ruins their chances of getting help.
What about if when everything bad happens, before they split up, they decide to go get help? And then that fails, and that's kind of the last, the nail in the coffin.
What if they lose the or maybe one of the goons steals the deed to the restaurant that the president signed?
Oh.
So that like if they can't find it, maybe they blame Adam or Jerome or something to like really kind of, you see them starting to split off. And so they're like, well, we need another one. I guess we'll have to go talk to the president.
And it's not like they would split up immediately after their failure to talk to the president. I think but that's something that increases that. Yeah.
Like maybe they go to the president's kitchen and they see everyone's working that assembly line and Jerome is like, look at them all in their corners.
Yeah. These little things are planting the seeds further.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so let's skip to the end. So they win the competition. They defeat the bad guy, however. They get the meatball from the king. What happens next?
Small touch up on the past. I have an idea.
Yeah.
What if that's one of the apocalyptic things, is everybody who is working underneath the evil lord in the future, they don't have a passion for cooking because it's been turned into this manufactured thing. So they're working on these assembly lines, making this canned food.
Yeah.
Like, you have the people who are making it, and then you have the people who are canning it, then you have the people who are cleaning the cans to put new...
yeah, that's the whole world,
right,
basically.
That is the whole world. So the reason why these chefs are unique is not just because they're cooking, but because they have a passion for it, and nobody else does, because it's become such a terrible thing.
And that's why King Onion takes notice.
Yeah, okay. I like that. I didn't know if we had touched on that before.
I sense their passion.
Yeah. Okay, what did you say?
So in the future... Or sorry. So they get... Wait, hang on. When you said in the past, did you mean the future?
I meant the future. Gosh, okay. I'm sorry. I meant the future.
Oh, no.
We gotta get you back.
Oh, God. Wait, when they win the meatball, should they keep the meatball? I think it'd be funny if they just kind of squish it or something.
I think they make it into a meal.
All right.
They make it into a big meal, and it's like a really good thing. And you have a thing where the King Onion eats it, he says, just as good as I could have done. And that's kind of his moment.
Oh, yeah, I like that. Okay. And then, does it end them? Do they ever go back to the future?
No.
Or do they stay in the past?
I think they should stay in the past. But the implication is that the future is saved.
Okay,
Until the bread zombies rise up from the ground.
Well, that could be a sequel. Maybe they get really kind of friendly with King Onion because obviously he knows who they are.
Yeah.
And then it's like, here's my spell book. And then maybe one of them reads the spell out loud and he says, no, not that one.
I like that. I like that. That'd be a funny way to end it.
Like outside in the garden, you see bread like pop up from the ground.
Reads it.
What does this say?
And she's reading it as if she's trying to understand it because she's got bad eyes.
That's funny. Yeah, and then you see bread pop out and there's like cuts to black.
I like that.
And King Onion says, oh no. That's awesome. Oh, we kind of fell off the musical train though.
Okay.
We need to talk about the music. So we have the song in the beginning.
Yeah.
With the setting up the world.
So we can easily have a song for each arc.
Yeah, we have when they all split up, obviously you want to have a song there. I think you have a song at the end in the competition when they're about to win.
I think the villain has a song in the present.
Yeah.
The villain has a song.
Do you mean the past?
No, I mean the present.
What's the present?
Sorry, the past. Jeez. Okay, so the future and the past, where's the present?
The present doesn't matter.
Okay, so then we'll just say future and past. In the
Yeah.
past,
Okay.
the bad guy has a song, or it could be a song done by the crew in his kitchen, during
I like that.
their search when they're in the White House.
It can be a reprise
palace.
of the beginning song.
Oh yeah, but it's kind of in a different way.
Yeah. Because the bad guy starts singing. And then I think the goon should have a song somewhere. Not sure where.
I don't know.
You don't think they
I
should?
don't think so. I think their whole comedic thing. I think another aspect of their comedy could be like they maybe see the heroes singing and they're like, "What's going on?" Like.
What if one of them really wants to sing, but the other ones never let him?
And then, they're one of the ones that does not join the heroes, or what are we talking
Yeah,
about?
just like a bumbling one. He's like, "Here we go, sneaking it." Like, shut
I
up!
think
I'm trying to sneak.
the big Muppet one should.
Yeah,
should
like
want to
he
sing.
always sings at really inappropriate times.
I like that.
Like,
I like
they're
that.
sneaking in the kitchen. They're just like, "We're sneaking through the kitchen." They shut up, or we're gonna get caught.
He's just got stupid songs for everything. I like that. I really like that.
Yeah, I think we should have a song between the romantic duo.
Yeah, I think it should be a song not sung by either of them. Should be some another celebrity guest who's singing a really really cheesy food-based romantic song.
Okay, sure.
It could go into one of those fake dream sequences, where the goon is imagining
Okay.
all the things that could be going on, and it's done by like a really good artist, but it's just such a cheesy, pun fully intended, just
what if
food-based love song.
What if the goon falls in love with Tanya because of her cooking? So she's never had anything aside from spaghetti cans, and so she's just imagining like all the food that Tanya could make for her.
But yeah, no, I like that. That'd be great.
It's stupid.
That'd be fantastic.
And then obviously you need the ensemble song when they're first cooking in the past.
Oh, definitely. I think that should be like a kind of the Seven Dwarves, kind of working song.
Yeah, just like a chaos song, like a song that represents the chaos.
A good example of the type of songs I want, and I know we talked about this earlier, but Fraggle Rock. Fraggle Rock has a big variety of music, but they have a lot of... Gosh, it's weird. They've got a lot of real emotional songs right next to songs that are just like beep boop bop boop boop, and I think that would be kind of a good measure to say you have some songs that are actually getting a point across, and then you have other songs that are just like in the kitchen song you can hear that the Foley in the background making the rhythm is like pots and pans clanging together,
right? Exactly.
Things being dropped,
I think you have a song right at the end as they're about to win the competition, or maybe after they win the competition.
I think after they win the competition,
we celebrating and all that.
Or if things start going bad during it and they kind of start singing and it's a reprise of the first song when they were working together in the kitchen. And that's what gets them to victory, in a cheesy way.
Yeah, and the song can have like harmonies and stuff, so it really like
symbolizes other teams of chefs who have already dropped out of the competition, because at that point it's just going to be the bad guy and the chefs are singing along too.
Oh, I like that. And the bad guy's disappointed no one's singing for him. He's like, I'm the best.
I like that.
Sing for me.
I like that.
And even the goon who always sings starts singing along.
I really like that. I want the four goons to have some redemption. I want them to still seem like they're mean at the end, but I want it to feel like you can't hate these guys,
Yeah, they're goofballs.
They're meatballs.
Meatballs. All right, so that's the Overcooked movie.
Oh, I love it.
What a lot of fun. So thanks everyone for joining us on this ride. I'm very hungry now.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, we have other podcasts we do as well.
Believe it or not.
You can find them all on our website at Speculative Realism. That's realism with two E's, like a film reel. Get it? Speculativerealism.com. We have a bunch of other shows that we're working on, and shows we've done in the past. You can find them all there, as well as a link to our Patreon, where you can help us with supporting the show and helping us continue to do what we love.
And we hope you love it as well.
You can also share the show with a friend. It's on Spotify,
or an
iTunes,
enemy.
Or an enemy, or a goon.
Or a goon.
It's on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, all the usual hits. Just share it with them and feel free to leave a comment or a rating, because that helps us get the show out and tell more people about it, get more fans on board.
And a special shout out, Phil Duncan, the designer of Overcooked. If you hear this,
Thanks, Phil.
Please let us.
Thanks, Phil.
Contact us. Talk to Team 17. Get us some rights. Let us make this movie.
We'll do it, Phil. We'll do it for you.
We'll do everything. Well, we don't do everything.
We'll do it.
We'll be the puppets.
Well, neither of us are good at writing songs, but we'll do the rest of it. All right. Well, we're gonna head off. The train's pulling out of the station. We are leaving the speculation station for this week, and yeah,
we'll see ya at the next stop.
Choo choo. Bye.